I walked into the courthouse telling myself everything would be okay. I kept whispering, it's just paperwork. Claire only wants shared custody. But even as I said it, my hands shook. I could feel something dark waiting for me in that room. When I stepped inside, I saw Claire sitting by the front. She didn't look at me. She just stared at her phone. Marcus sat behind her, leaning back like he owned the place. He gave me a quick smirk, the kind that said he already knew how this day would end. I tried to breathe. "Claire," I said softly as I walked toward her, "can we talk before this starts?" She didn't lift her head. "There's nothing to talk about. Claire, please. I just want to understand why, Mr. Hale," Judge Rowan called from the bench. "We're ready to begin." I swallowed my words and sat down. My heart hammered. I kept telling myself Lily mattered more than my fear. I kept seeing her small hands, her smile, the way she said "Daddy" like it was a secret she loved to share. The clerk asked Claire to take the stand first. She stood up slowly like she was playing a sad role in some cheap drama. When she sat down, she finally looked at me, only to look away again as if I made her sick. "Mrs. Hale," the judge began, "you asked for full custody? Please explain your reasons." I leaned forward, waiting. I thought she would talk about long work hours or communication problems. Something normal. Something we could fix. Instead, she took a deep breath and whispered, "I'm scared of him." My stomach dropped. "What?" Judge Rowan raised a hand. "Mr. Hale, you will stay silent while she speaks." Claire's voice shook, but I could tell it was pretend. I had lived with that voice for years. I knew her real pain, and this wasn't it. "He yells at me," she said. "Sometimes he throws things. I'm worried he might hurt Lily." I stood up without meaning to. "That's a lie." "I never sit down," the judge warned. I sat, but my whole body trembled. Marcus shifted in his chair, pretending to look uncomfortable. But I saw the quiet smile on his face. Claire wiped her eyes with a tissue. No tears came out. "I tried to make the marriage work," she said. "I tried so hard, but he scares me. I'm afraid he'll scare Lily too." I whispered, "Why are you doing this to me?" She kept talking like she didn't hear me. "I think Lily needs a stable home. She doesn't have that with him. I want full custody so she can grow up safe." Safe. That word stabbed me. The judge turned to me. "Mr. Hale, do you have anything to say in response to these accusations?" "Yes," I said, standing again. "I never yelled at her the way she's saying. I never threw anything. I never hurt her. I love my daughter more than anything. All I want is to be in her life." "Do you have evidence to support your claim?" the judge asked. "Evidence?" I didn't think I would need evidence against my own wife. I looked at Claire, my partner, my friend, the mother of my child, and I searched her face for a hint of the woman I used to know. She looked away. I have nothing," said quietly. Marcus let out a tiny laugh. The judge didn't hear it, but I did. It felt like someone slowly grinding a boot into my chest. Judge Rowan cleared his throat. "Given the statements, and with no counter-evidence, I must consider the safety of the child first." I looked down. I could already hear the decision coming. "I grant full custody to Mrs. Hale," he said. "Mr. Hale, you will receive supervised visitation pending further evaluation." Supervised? Like I was some kind of monster. I gripped the table. "Please," I whispered. "Lily needs both of us." Claire stood and walked past me. "She'll be fine," she said without emotion. "This is better for her." I felt the words tear something inside me. "Claire," I said again, feeling my voice crack, "don't do this." Marcus stood behind her, placing a hand on her shoulder like he owned her now. He gave me the same smirk he wore when I entered. "Let's go," he told her. She nodded. I watched them walk out, side by side. The woman I loved and the man who helped her destroy me. I felt the world tilt, like the floor dropped out from under my feet. The judge dismissed the courtroom. But I couldn't move. I kept hearing Lily's laugh in my head. I kept seeing her running to me, arms open. And now I was supposed to see her with a stranger watching me. I might break her. When I finally forced myself to leave the building, the sky looked too bright. The world felt wrong. I stepped outside and felt cold all over. "My daughter," I whispered. They took my daughter. I walked away feeling like my whole life had been stolen in one afternoon. I tried calling out to her in my mind, begging her to understand. But the only answer I heard was my own echo. I whispered, "I'll fight for you, Lily. I promise. This isn't over. I swear." I opened the front door and said, "Lily, I'm home," even though I knew she wasn't there. My voice echoed back at me, and I felt stupid for even saying it. I stepped inside and whispered, "It's too quiet." I dropped my keys on the table and stared into the living room. I could almost hear her laugh, but it was just my memory playing tricks on me. I sat down and said, "How did everything fall apart so fast?" I rubbed my face and tried to breathe, but every breath hurt. I kept seeing the judge's face, Claire's fake tears, and Marcus smirking behind her. I whispered, "You should have seen this coming, Ethan." I walked into the kitchen, hoping it would distract me. It didn't, I whispered. She used to text me from this counter. "Working late tonight? That lie aged well, didn't it?" I opened the fridge, saw nothing I wanted, and closed it again. I sat on a chair and said, "She started hiding her phone 1 year ago. Why didn't I ask why? Why didn't I push back?" My voice cracked. "Because you trusted her. That's why a knock hit the door." I froze. When I opened it, Daniel walked in without waiting. "You look like hell," he said. "Thanks," I muttered. He shut the door. I came as soon as I heard. "Tell me everything." "There's not much to tell," I said. "Claire lead." Marcus smirked. The judge believed her. Now I don't have my daughter. Daniel sat across from me. "Say it again." "I don't have my daughter." The words tasted like poison. He leaned forward. "Did you yell in court? Did you lose it?" "No," I said. "I wanted to, but I didn't. I just stood there like an idiot." "You're not an idiot," he said. "You're a father who got blindsided." I shook my head. I ignored everything. She picked fights for no reason. She made me feel guilty for asking questions. I let her walk all over me, and now she took Lily. Daniel sighed. "What do you want to do now?" "I don't know," I said. "I feel like I'm walking through fog." He tapped the table. "Then start small. Eat, sleep, breathe. You can't help Lily if you fall apart." I nodded, even though his words felt far away. I tried calling Claire after court. "What happened?" She didn't answer, but she sent a text. I handed him my phone. He read it aloud. "Don't contact me or Lily." Looked up. She actually wrote this. "She really wants to cut you out?" I took the phone back. "She's serious. She wants me gone." Daniel paced. "This isn't just custody. This is a setup. Marcus is pulling strings." I rubbed my eyes. "I know, but the judge believed him. How am I supposed to fight that?" He put a hand on my shoulder. "One step at a time. I'm not letting you go through this alone." His voice shook something loose inside me. For the first time since court, I felt like I could breathe a little. "Thanks," I said. He stayed for an hour, talking about anything he could think of, just to keep me from spiraling. When he finally left, I sat alone again in the dim house. I stared at the stairs and whispered, I should go to bed. But my feet walked toward Lily's old room instead. When I opened the door, the air felt heavy. Her toys sat in the corner. Her books were still on the shelf. I walked in and said, "Hi, Princess." I knew she wasn't there, but speaking made the silence hurt less. I sat on the carpet. "I'm so sorry," I whispered. "I should have protected you." I pulled her small pink backpack onto my lap. Claire was supposed to clear everything before she took Lily, but of course she didn't. I opened the zipper and found crayons, a sock, and a tiny toy car. Then, buried under everything, I saw a little voice recorder Lily used for school. "Show and tell. What's this doing here?" I asked. I clicked play. Claire's voice exploded out of the speaker. "Marcus, stop yelling. If you want this to work, you need to act normal." Then his voice came through. "You told me the judge will believe anything if you cry. Just do it right." I froze. My heart slammed against my ribs. Claire hissed. I said, "I'll handle the crying." "You handle the story." "You said you'd make him look unstable." Marcus snapped. "I did. Now it's your turn. Make the court believe it. I dropped the recorder. No, I whispered. No, no, no. I picked it up again, my hands shaking. This is real. This actually happened. I pressed play again, needing to hear it one more time just to believe it wasn't in my head. Claire's voice, he won't fight back. He's too soft. That's why this will work. Marcus's voice. Good. Then Lily will be ours. I turned it off. I felt the room tilt. I whispered, they planned everything. Then I whispered something else. A promise that felt like iron. I'm going to get my daughter back. I stood there, clutching the recorder, feeling my heartbeat pound in my ears. Every lie, every fake tear, every cold look suddenly made sense. I whispered, this changes everything. No. I held the recorder in my hands for what felt like hours, replaying every second of Claire and Marcus's voices. Each word felt like a spark, lighting anger and fear inside me at the same time. I finally whispered, what am I supposed to do with this? But no answer came from the empty room. I stood up and said, I can't keep this to myself. I need someone who will actually listen. There was only one person I trusted enough, my sister Maya. When I called her, she answered on the first ring. Ethan, you sound awful. What happened? I found something, I said. I need you to hear it. What is it? She asked. I'll explain when I get there, I said. Please just be home. I'm here. Hurry, she said, and I hung up. Driving to her apartment felt surreal. My mind kept repeating the same question. How long were they planning this? I parked and walked up the stairs, feeling my heart pound with every step. When she opened the door, she looked at me like she already knew something terrible had happened. Sit down, she said. Tell me everything. I handed her the recorder. Just press play. She hit the button. Claire's voice filled the room instantly. Maya's eyes widened. When Marcus spoke, her mouth dropped open. When the audio ended, she said, You have to be kidding me. I wish I was, I said. She stood up and paced. They talked like they were reading from a script. They planned every detail. How could you not see this? I don't know, I said. Maybe I didn't want to believe she could do something like this. Maya shook her head. She's been different for months. Remember when she showed up with that bruise on her arm and said you grabbed her too hard? I thought she was joking. She told me she bumped into a cabinet, I whispered. She lied, Maya said. And you ignored it because you loved her. I rubbed my face. I feel like an idiot. You're not an idiot, she said. You trusted your wife. Anyone would, I sighed. What do I even do with this recording? Do I go to the police? Do I go back to court? What if they twist it again? Maya sat next to me. You fight back. That's what you do. You take this to whoever will listen. You don't let them get away with it. I don't know if I'm strong enough, I said. She grabbed my hand. Yes, you are. You just don't feel like it right now. I stayed quiet for a moment, then said, there were signs. Messages she deleted. Nights she came home smelling like someone else's cologne. Marcus suddenly had a new car. I told myself none of it mattered. It mattered, Maya said. They used your trust against you. I took a deep breath. I can't let them keep Lily. I won't. Good, Maya said. Then let's start putting the pieces together. I nodded slowly. This recording, it's only the beginning. I need more. I need proof they lied about everything. We'll get it, she said. And I'll help you. For the first time in days, I felt something sharp and alive inside me. Not just pain. Not just fear. Something stronger. I'm going to find the truth, I said. All of it. And when you do, Maya said, they won't be able to hide. I stood up. No more running. No more pretending this will fix itself. Maya crossed her arms. So what's your first step? I don't know yet, I admitted. But I know I'm not backing down. Not this time. She smiled a little. There he is. The real Ethan. I picked up the recorder again. This is the thing they forgot. The one mistake they made. Good, Maya said. Let's make them regret it. I nodded. I'm going to get my daughter back. Even if I have to burn myself to do it. Maya touched my shoulder and said, then start by trusting yourself again. You're not powerless. You're not broken. They wanted you to feel that way so you wouldn't fight. I did feel that way, I said. But hearing this, it changes everything. It proves I'm not crazy. You were never crazy, she said. They just made you doubt your own reality. I let out a shaky breath. I hate that they almost succeeded. And don't let them finish the job, she said. Use that anger. Use that fear. Turn it into something they never expected. I looked at her. You really think I can do this? I know you can, she said. And you're not doing it alone. I'm with you. Something in me steadied. I wasn't defeated. I kept my hood up as I walked across the parking lot toward Claire's old office building, telling myself to breathe, to stay quiet, to stay small. When I stepped inside and asked for her former coworkers, one of the women looked at me like I was a ghost. I just need to ask a few questions, I said. My voice cracked. She hesitated, then led me to a back room. Claire said you were unstable, she admitted. She said she was afraid you might show up with anger issues. I forced myself not to flinch. Did she say when she started telling people that? She bit her lip. Months before the separation. The words punched the air out of me. Thank you, I managed. I left before my knees gave out. At Lily's school, her teacher, Ms. Avery, greeted me with careful eyes. I'm not here to cause trouble, I said. I just need to know, did Claire talk about me? Ms. Avery sighed. She told the staff you were struggling emotionally. She asked us to report anything unusual, Lily said, rubbed my forehead. Did Lily ever say anything? Only that she missed you. Her voice softened. She never seemed afraid of you. I swallowed the ache rising in my throat. I headed to Mrs. Turner's house next. Her curtains fluttered when I knocked, and a moment later she opened the door, guilt written across her face. I was hoping you'd come, she said. Claire told me awful things. I believed her. Stepped inside, my heart hammering. What did she say? That you screamed at her. That you threatened her. That Marcus had to come protect her from you. She paused. But that didn't sit right with me. I let out a shaky breath. Why not? She motioned me toward the living room. Because I kept seeing him here at night. Before any of this, my pulse spiked. Can you prove that? Instead of answering, she walked to a small cabinet and pulled out a flash drive. I installed new cameras last year, she said. Motion activated. They caught everything. She plugged it into her TV. The footage flickered to life. There was Marcus walking up her driveway at 11:37 p.m. 2 months before Claire asked for the separation. He was carrying a bag. Play the next one, I whispered. The screen showed Marcus again, 3 weeks later, slipping around the side of Claire's house. Why didn't you say anything? I asked. Mrs. Turner looked ashamed. Claire told me he was helping with repairs because you refused to. I believed her. I'm so sorry. I stared at the screen until my vision blurred. Thank you for showing me, I said. This helps more than you know. When I got back to Daniel's place, he was on the couch. You look like you've been hit by a truck, he said. I dropped onto the chair across from him. Claire lied to everyone. Months before the trial, she set the whole thing up. Daniel exhaled slowly. Show me. I told him everything, Ms. Avery, the coworkers, the footage. His expression darkened. You need more than suspicions. You need someone who can dig. A lawyer? Not yet, he said. A private investigator? The next morning, Harper arrived, a sharp woman with short hair and eyes that scanned everything. Tell me what you need, she said. I replayed the recording from Marcus's slip and told her about the footage. She nodded. I'll start with Marcus. He looks messy. Messy how? She smirked. Men who sneak around usually have other secrets. 2 days later, she returned with a folder. I braced myself. You were right, she said. Marcus has gambling debts. Heavy ones. He owed tens of thousands to a private lender. I clenched my fists. And Claire? Harper slid out another page. Bank transfers. Regular payments from her to him, starting about a year before the separation, stared at the numbers. She paid him? Consistently, Harper said. Looks like she was keeping him afloat. My breath thinned. So they were working together, That's what it looks like. I sank into the couch. They used me, I whispered. Harper didn't look away. Yes. Daniel stepped closer. What now? I looked at both of them, feeling something inside me shift from pain into resolve. Now I fight. Harper raised an eyebrow. You sure you're ready for that? I nodded. I don't have a choice. She crossed her arms. Then you'll need more evidence records, witnesses, anything tying them together. Daniel leaned forward. We'll help, I paced. Claire's old landlord might have seen something. Daniel grabbed his keys. Let's ask. On the drive, Harper said, people talk when lies fall apart. At the landlord's door, he studied me. Claire warned me about you. Steadied myself. Did she have late-night visitors? He frowned. Tall guy in a dark jacket? Came often. My stomach twisted. Marcus. Think so, he said. Harper whispered another piece. I stepped back, determination settling into my bones. Daniel touched my shoulder. You all right? I nodded. Every lie confirmed feels like something breaking and rebuilding. Truth stings before it helps, I exhaled. What now? Harper tapped her notebook. More witnesses. More records, Daniel added. And you talk to anyone who'll listen. I straightened. I will. I'm not stopping. Harper looked at me. Then we keep going until everything they hid comes out. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the folder Harper gave me, when my phone buzzed. I picked it up, expecting another warning from Claire, but Daniel's voice came through fast. Turn on the news, he said. I asked why, and he replied, just do it. I grabbed the remote and turned to the local channel. Marcus's face filled the screen. The reporter said he had been fired for hiding gambling debts and using company funds for personal bets. I whispered Harper did that already. Daniel said yes, adding that Marcus's employer didn't appreciate being lied to. I said I didn't know how to feel. Daniel answered, feel whatever you want. He earned this. Maya stormed into my house without knocking. Did you see the news? She asked. I nodded and told her Harper had exposed Marcus's mess. Maya crossed her arms. Good. One liar down. I rubbed my face and said I wasn't sure if I should feel happy about it. She frowned. Ethan, he helped take Lily from you. He deserves everything hitting him. I murmured that maybe, but part of me still felt heavy. Maya leaned closer. You're not doing this for revenge. You're doing this for Lily. I told her there was more. I said Ms. Avery called that morning and told me Claire had dropped Lily off late again. Maya asked if Lily was okay. I said yes, but Ms. Avery said Claire looked stressed and distracted. Maya muttered that Claire's lies were catching up to her. I whispered that maybe it wasn't enough. Maya shook her head. It's happening whether you push or not. That afternoon, Harper called, saying, you should hear this. She told me Claire's boss discovered she submitted a false report last quarter. Something about numbers that didn't match. I asked if Claire was in trouble, and Harper said she will be soon. I closed my eyes, wondering how I felt watching everything collapse without me lifting a finger. Daniel came over that night. He sat on my couch and asked, you thinking about backing out? I said no, but I admitted I felt conflicted. I told him part of me wanted them to suffer for what they did, but another part still remembered the woman I married. Daniel shook his head. That woman doesn't exist anymore. I stared at the floor and whispered that I still wished she did. Maya joined us and dropped a stack of printed messages on the table. Harper sent these, she said. I looked through them and saw bank statements. Screenshots of deleted messages between Claire and Marcus, and photos Mrs. Turner had given us. My hand shook. I said, this is enough to reopen the case. Maya nodded. More than enough. Daniel added, we go back to court. You fight now. I paced the room. I told them I knew I had to do it, but I also feared what Claire might try next. Maya asked what I meant. I explained that Claire lied once and got the court to believe her. I said I feared she would go darker if she thought she was losing. Daniel asked if I thought she would hurt Lily, and I said no, never Lily. But maybe she would twist things again to make me look dangerous. Maya grabbed my arms. Then you stay smart. You stay calm. You stay ahead. I took a deep breath and opened the folder again. I said out loud, "This is for Lily." Daniel said yes. Maya said yes. I repeated it, trying to make myself believe that fear didn't control me anymore. When Harper arrived with a final packet, she placed it in front of me. "These are everything you need," she said. I asked if she thought I could win. She said, "If truth means anything, yes." I nodded slowly. I told her thank you. She said, "Just make sure you keep going." That night I sat alone and listened again to the recording of Claire and Marcus, arguing about making the court believe the story. I heard Claire's voice shaking and Marcus telling her to just cry harder. I whispered Lily, "I'm coming for you." I felt the fear inside me shifting into something stronger. I packed every piece of evidence into a single black folder and placed it on the table. Maya called and asked, "Are you ready?" I answered, "I think so." She told me, no thinking. "You are ready," and she said, "Court opens in 2 days. You walk in with truth. Let her be the one who panics." I sat in silence after the call. I pictured Lily's face, her smile, the way she grabbed my hand. I promised out loud to keep going, to not run from this anymore. I whispered for Lily again and again. I stood by the window and watched the streetlights flicker. My heart beat fast, but not from fear. I told myself that truth had waited enough, and I would not hide anymore. I imagined Claire trying to hold her lies together while everything slipped away. I imagined Marcus scrambling without anyone to save him. I whispered again, for Lily, letting the words settle like armor around me. I stared at the emergency custody form on my desk, whispering, "This is it. I'm finally doing it." My hands trembled, but I pressed submit anyway. Minutes later, my phone buzzed with a message from Claire. "You're ruining everything," she wrote. "You're pathetic. You can't stand that Lily prefers me." I exhaled slowly and typed, "We'll let the court decide." She didn't reply. I called Maya immediately. "She's furious," I said. "Good," Maya answered. "Let her be scared. You're not backing down." "I'm not trying to destroy her," I murmured. "I know," she said. "You're trying to save Lily." The day of the hearing arrived faster than I expected. I walked into the courtroom, my chest tight. Daniel squeezed my shoulder. "You ready?" "As ready as I'll ever be." Claire stood on the other side. Mascara perfect, posture straight, the picture of innocence. When she saw me, she muttered, "You'll regret this." "I already regret trusting you," I whispered back. The judge entered, and everyone rose. My heart hammered against my ribs as the hearing began. Claire spoke first, her voice trembling just enough to seem believable. "Your Honor, I'm exhausted. I've done everything for Lily while she gestured toward me dramatically. He's trying to paint me as a monster." The judge looked at me. "You may respond. I have something to present," I said. "A recording." Claire froze. "What recording?" I pressed play on my phone, letting the audio fill the room. Claire's voice echoed first. "Just cry. They'll believe you." Marcus followed. "As long as he takes the blame, we're safe." Their laughter followed. The courtroom fell silent. Claire went pale. Marcus shifted in his seat. "That's taken out of context," Claire stammered. "Context," said. "You accused me of hurting our child." Marcus tried to stand. "I'm not part of this." The bailiff stepped forward, blocking his path. The judge raised a hand. "Sit down, Mr. Caldwell." Harper stepped up next, handing over a folder. "Your Honor, these are financial documents linking Claire and Marcus. Transfers, withdrawals, and gambling transactions." Claire snapped, "How dare you?" The judge glared. "Ms. Hampton, you will remain silent." Mrs. Turner approached the stand nervously. "I believed Claire for a long time," she said. "But I was wrong." She handed over a USB drive. "Here's the footage." Marcus visiting her late at night months before the separation. Claire shouted, "She's lying." The judge slammed the gavel. "Enough." I slowly stood. "Your Honor, may I speak?" My voice cracked, but the judge nodded. I loved Claire, I began. I trusted her. And I trusted Marcus. But they used me. They lied about me. They let the world think I was dangerous to my own daughter. I didn't fight it at first because I was ashamed and scared. But I'm here now because Lily deserves the truth. I deserve the truth, and I won't let a lie decide my relationship with my child anymore. I sank back into my chair. Feeling the weight of everything I'd carried, the judge folded their hands. The evidence is substantial. I will review it thoroughly. This court takes false allegations very seriously. Claire whispered sharply, "You won't win." I didn't respond. For the first time in months, I could breathe. As we stepped out of the courtroom, Maya hugged me. "I'm proud of you. I didn't think I could do it," I admitted. "You did," she said. "And you're not alone anymore." Daniel nodded. "Whatever happens next, you showed them the truth." I looked back at the courtroom doors. I finally stood up for myself. That has to count for something. Maya smiled softly. "It does, and it will." We walked toward the parking lot, and I felt my legs wobble. "Do you think the judge believed me?" I asked. Harper joined us. "The evidence speaks for itself. Claire can scream all she wants, but her story fell apart in there." I rubbed my face. Hearing her lie like that again, it still hits me. "I get it," Harper said. "But today you were the one in control." As we reached my car, my phone buzzed again. Another message from Claire. "You think you've won? I'll never let you take her." I stared at the screen. Maya frowned. "Don't answer. She wants a reaction." "I know," I said, but my hands shook anyway. "I just don't understand how she can still pretend she's the victim." "Because she's terrified," Daniel said. "People like her don't handle consequences." I leaned against the car. "I used to think she was a good mother." Maya stepped closer. "She can still love Lily and make terrible choices." "Both can be true." "I just want Lily to be safe," I whispered. "And that's why you're fighting," she said. "Not to punish Claire. To protect your daughter." We stood there quietly for a moment. A breeze moved through the lot. "What happens next?" I asked. Harper replied, "The judge will schedule a follow-up hearing. They may appoint a guardian ad litem. They may order evaluations." "More waiting," I muttered. "Yes," she said gently. "But after today, the tide finally shifted." I kept thinking I'd break. But I didn't. Maya gave me a small smile. "You found your strength." I looked up at the sky. Maybe I did. As we headed to our cars, I whispered to myself. This time, I'm not afraid of the truth. I was still shaking when the judge's ruling echoed in my head. "Custody rights suspended pending further investigation," I whispered. "It's finally happening, even though my knees felt unsteady." Daniel nudged me as we left the courtroom. "You did it," he said. "This is the turning point." "I don't know if I did anything," I muttered. "It feels unreal." "You stood up," he replied. "That's more than you ever thought you could." My phone buzzed before we reached the parking lot. A message from Claire lit the screen. "Please answer. I need to explain." Then another, "I made a mistake. I didn't mean for it to go this far." And another, "Please. Don't take Lily from me." I read them silently. Daniel asked, "You okay?" "She's begging," I said softly. "Don't respond," he warned. "You owe her nothing." "I know," I said, but part of me trembled. It's strange hearing fear in her voice. "Yeah," he said. "That's what truth does." CPS called me an hour later. The agent spoke firmly. "We'll be interviewing Claire and reviewing her conduct. Marcus is also being questioned by financial crimes. We may call you again." "Whatever you need," I told them. "I just want my daughter to be safe." When the call ended, I sat down on the couch and buried my face in my hands. The house still felt too quiet without Lily's footsteps. But for once, the silence didn't choke me. It felt like a pause before breathing again. Maya called next. I heard she said without even saying hello, "I'm proud of you. I didn't think the judge would act that fast." They saw the truth. Finally, I hesitated. "Claire keeps messaging me." "Block her," she said sharply. "I can't. Not yet." Why? Because part of me still doesn't understand why she did this. Maya sighed. She's unraveling. Let her, that evening Claire called. Her voice was thin and trembling. Please, she whispered. Can we talk? I know I went too far. I know I hurt you. I panicked. Marcus told me it would fix everything. I didn't think they'd take Lily from me. Hearing her voice almost broke me, but I stayed silent. Please say something, she begged. I'm scared. I hung up. My hands shook afterward, but the shaking wasn't from guilt. It was from clarity. She finally understood the damage she caused, but it didn't erase it. Daniel dropped by later with takeout. He tossed the bag on the table and said, You look like you got hit by a truck. I guess I did, I said. Emotionally, sat across from me. I saw your face when that ruling came down. You looked like someone who realized they weren't trapped anymore. I forgot what freedom felt like. Get used to it, he said. You're not the same person you were a month ago. I nodded. I want to see Lily. You will, he said firmly. Soon the next morning, CPS called again. A supervised visit has been approved, the agent said. The guardian agreed to meet this afternoon. My throat tightened. I'll be there. I drove to the guardian's house with my heart pounding so hard I felt it in my fingers. When the door opened, I saw Lily standing in the hallway with her little backpack. Her eyes widened the second she saw me. Daddy. She screamed, running toward me. I dropped to my knees, catching her as she threw her arms around my neck. She clung to me so tightly I felt her shaking. Daddy, don't leave me again, she cried, into my shoulder. I won't, I whispered, pulling her closer. I'm here, I promise. I'm right here. She sobbed harder, her little hands clutching my shirt like she was afraid I'd disappear if she'd let go. I held her until her breathing steadied. I missed you so much, I told her. I wanted you, she said. I told Mommy I wanted you and she got mad. My heart cracked. I'm sorry, I whispered. You didn't do anything wrong. She wiped her face with her sleeve. Are you coming home now? Soon, I said. I'm fighting for that. She nodded, still gripping my hand like she'd never let go again. We sat on the couch, drawing pictures while the guardian quietly observed from the other room. Lily talked nonstop, telling me about school, about a new friend, about missing our bedtime stories. I kept your recorder, she said proudly. I hid it so Mommy wouldn't take it. My breath caught. You're very brave. You're brave too, she said, leaning against me. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, the world didn't feel hostile. It felt possible. When the visit ended, Lily hugged me again. Come back soon. I will, I promised. Outside, I sat in my car and let the tears fall freely. Not from pain this time, but from something warmer, lighter. Hope. Real hope, Daniel called as I wiped my face. How'd it go? She ran to me, I said, my voice cracking. She asked me not to leave her. He exhaled. Then everything you've done, every moment you doubted yourself, it was worth it. I think I said slowly, my life is finally starting again. This time, he said, you're the one writing it. I looked at my reflection in the window. Yeah, I whispered. I am. When the judge finally said full custody is granted to the father, I felt my knees weaken. I didn't cry, but my throat tightened hard enough to hurt. Claire gasped beside her attorney, and when the judge continued, the mother will have supervised visitation only. She covered her mouth like she'd been punched. I didn't look at her. I just stared straight ahead until the gavel dropped. When the session ended, I took a slow breath and whispered, It's finally over. Outside the courtroom, Claire rushed toward me. Please, she said, grabbing my sleeve. Don't do this. I can change. I swear I can change. Her voice cracked not, the stage sobbing she used to perform, but something trembling and real. I didn't trust it. I didn't even trust myself to speak, so I stepped back. She wiped her eyes quickly. I'm Lily's mother, she whispered. You can't take her away from me. I'm not the one who did that, I said quietly. You did. She shook her head desperately. I was scared. I made mistakes, but I love her. I know you do, I said, because despite everything, I believed that part. But what you did, it has consequences. Her lips trembled. "Please don't hate me." "I don't," I said. "But I can't trust you." Claire looked at me for a long moment, then turned away before her tears fell again. I felt something twist in my chest, not forgiveness, not satisfaction. Just the heavy ache of knowing nothing about this was ever going to feel clean. Daniel met me outside the courthouse steps. "You did it?" he said, clapping my shoulder. "Man, you actually did it." "I don't feel like celebrating," I admitted. "You don't have to. Victory doesn't always feel good. But it's still victory." I nodded, though my chest still felt tight. "I just want to pick up Lily, then go," he said. "She's been waiting for this." When I reached the temporary guardian's house, Lily opened the door before I knocked. "Daddy," she screamed, launching into my arms. I held her so tightly I worried I might crush her. She only wrapped her arms around my neck and whispered, "Don't leave me again." "I won't," I said. "I promise." She sniffed. "Mommy said you were mad at her," I sighed. "It's more complicated than that. Are you mad at me?" "Never," I said instantly. "Not once." She leaned against me. "I'm glad you came back. I never left," I whispered. "Not really," on the drive home. She talked nonstop about school, her drawings, and how she wanted pancakes for dinner. I listened to every word, letting the sound of her voice wash away months of emptiness. When we got home, she skipped around the living room like she'd never been gone. "Can I put my stuffed animals on the bed again?" "All of them," I said. "Pile them as high as you want." She laughed and ran to her room. I stood there for a moment, letting the quiet settle inside me. Daniel was right. Victory didn't feel good, but it felt necessary. And as I looked around the house, something inside me finally exhaled. When Lily came back with her stuffed rabbit, she asked, "Daddy, are we staying here forever?" "Yes," I said. "This is our home," she smiled, satisfied. "Good. I like it better when you tuck me in." "I like that too." She yawned, rubbing her eyes. "I'm tired, Daddy." "Come here," I said, picking her up. She rested her head on my shoulder, warm and heavy with the kind of trust I'd been terrified I'd lost forever. As I carried her to her room, she murmured, "Are we safe now?" "Yes," I whispered. "We're safe." I tucked her under the blankets and brushed her hair from her forehead. She was asleep before I even stepped away. I stood there watching her, feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time: certainty. Not hope, not fear, but the kind of certainty that settles into your bones when you know you survived the worst version of yourself and the worst version of someone you once loved. I went to the living room and sat on the couch, letting the silence wrap around me. The memories hit me all at once. The accusations, the trial, the nights I cried alone in the dark. The moment I realized Claire and Marcus had twisted everything, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the humiliation, it all flooded back. But for the first time, it didn't drown me. "I made it," I whispered. Not because the judge finally believed me. Not because the lies finally shattered, but because I refused to break, even when breaking felt easier. I leaned back and closed my eyes. Lily's soft breathing drifted faintly from her room. My entire world asleep just a few feet away. This time I whispered to myself, "No one will ever take her from me again." I meant every word.